And James, you've been listening in on a meeting between the unions. What was said?
Well, actually, what Jean-Dominique Senard was about to say on that soundbite was indeed that of the four factories that had been announced potentially closing by the press here in France, in fact, only one will be closing, and it is the factory in Choisy-le-Roi. Choisy-le-Roi is actually a factory where gearboxes and engines are reconditioned to be replaced in older cars. Well, that activity is going to be transferred here in Flins. What has been announced for the moment, but it is not completely certain, is that indeed Flins will be carrying on producing the car it currently produces, which are the Nissan Micra and the Renault Zoe, the electric Renault Zoe. Well, the production is going to carry on to the end of those two models, and that is 2024. The big question mark is what's going to happen afterwards. Well, I've been speaking to unionists here who have been at that meeting, and they've been telling me that what they want is to see a new car being produced in this factory behind me. They say it's very good that indeed the activity from Choisy-le-Roi, though of course they regret the closure of that plant. They say it's good that that's extra activity for Flins, but they say if a car isn't built in this huge plant behind me, it's 230 hectares, the size of it, 2,600 full-time employees here. Well, they say that indeed if a new car is not produced on these lines behind me in 2024, well, that will be the beginning of the end for this industrial site.
And James, why is Renault struggling, and can this plan help to save the company?
Well, indeed, Renault has been struggling ever since Carlos Ghosn, left in 2018, was arrested in Japan. But the structural problem is there. Carlos Ghosn had decided to play with volume. He wanted to produce as many cars as possible, and that had been a winning strategy until 2017, when Renault was the #1 automaker in the world. But since sales have plummeted, and last year only 3.8 million cars were sold, obviously that's a lot, but that's a lot less than planned. And the company, for a first time in 10 years, has not managed to have profit. They lost 141 million euros, and the trend is not good. Of course, COVID-19 has had a major impact, but indeed, Renault had grown very quickly to become a very high volume producer, and this shift in strategy, according to Renault management, was needed in order to reduce industrial cost to adapt to the current market.
James, thank you very much indeed. James Andre there.